worthy that I receive invitation from such a noble congregation. I am grateful and humbled, and I thank you and pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to anoint us all in His love, in His mercy, and His forgiveness, and that these permeate every fiber of our being. As per introduction, I will speak and contemplate on the importance, the imperative, and the urgency of Muslim unity throughout the world in adverse times. We live in a world in which the forces of dhulm, the forces of oppression, ever active, adventurous in an imperial, expansionist sense, bold and fearless, possessing extremely destructive technology, envelope the world at large and establish its arch, its wide-reaching throne on land, sea, and in space. These forces wage war on the powerless of Allah's creation. وقال رحمة الله للسماوات والأرضين والعالمين صلى الله عليه وسلم الخلق إيال الله. If we cast even a cursory glance at the world, what do we see? Yemen, the very name signifies a history with rich, healthy, deep and wide-reaching roots. Yemen in Islamic times and previously, for millennia, thousands of years before Islam also, was a center of agriculture and its sciences, maritime sea trade, shipbuilding, navigational knowledge, sea harvesting, the very lu'lu, marjan, musk and amber mentioned in the Quran. Yemen, the scriptorium of the Holy Quran, a Silicon Valley in history of the Quran, its writing and publication and technology, lies today in ruins, crushed, smashed and bludgeoned by space-age, high-tech, smart technology in whose algorithm, in whose algebraic equation, a wedding celebration gathering is equal to evil and must be immediately and brutally destroyed. This smart technology of destruction is a black hole that destroys and swallows and grows hungrier by the day. Yemen is totally destroyed, so much so, and pardon my small hyperbole, is so much so destroyed that the denizens of a hell would breathe a sigh of relief that they are not there. Totally destroyed, yet it is still being further bludgeoned. We wait today, the 19th of May 2017, we wait with fear, dread and trepidation to hear the outcome of an imminent meeting. Do we have the intellectual expertise to diagnose, to decode and to give prognosis of the outcome of this imminent meeting? No. The so-called Darul Ulooms, Islamic universities, madrasas, Islamic schools, and khanqahs, they do nothing but pluck out our eyes, maim us, so that we be good girls and good boys in the southern Jim Crow sense, in the 1948 apartheid sense. We do not have an intellectual basis on which to decode the imminent meeting of the most destructive forces in the world, which are going to meet shortly. This meeting is, of course, if we are true Muslims, if we are relevant Muslims, should be in our knowledge by now. We live in a context of volumat fawqa volumat. Africa is a veritable mirror to the celestial heavenly beauty and ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. High tech, our cell phones, laptops, etc., high technology is totally impossible without the dust of Africa. Yet, our children starve to death. Their money, mountain-sized heaps, have disappeared into the riba black holes of the global north, the Swiss banks and the American banks. The banks of the global north have disappeared, and mountain sizes continue to disappear, and it will never ever return. Our children starve to death. I use the word our in the Islamic sense, and I refer to children, whoever they may be, whether these be Muslim children of Africa, Christian children of Africa, children of indigenous affiliation. The ground on which Mother Nature's bosom, which should nurture them, caress them, on which they should play, is poisoned with the highest or near so concentration of landmines in the world. Thousands of African children, just a hop and a skip north of us, are mutilated, limbless, maimed for life. Just north of the South African political borders, we have the highest concentration of the most high-tech and destructive landmines in the world. One type of landmine is called a blast fragmentation landmine. Now remember what is a landmine. In some conflict zone, a landmine is planted, it is there for generations to come. It is never removed. When conflict ebbs, it goes down on the wave, on the graph. That landmine is still there. When children walk, play, forage for food, look for roots on which to bite to quench their hunger, that landmine waits for them and it explodes. Now there is a type of landmine called a blast fragmentation landmine. That is a network of landmines which are digitally connected by signal. So you have one landmine which is in a web which is connected to other landmines. So if a child activates one landmine, and children are always in a group to play, are they not? If that child activates one landmine, that landmine is going to explode, and it triggers by digital signal a network of other landmines. That is called blast fragmentation landmines. Where are these landmines developed? Whose technology is it? Whose algebra and whose algorithm of destruction is it that develops these landmines? How is it that these landmines find their way? There must be some vector of transportation, is it not, that brings those landmines safely from somewhere to here to Africa. This is our reality. They, and I repeat, they are our children. Political Islam, and there's this whole perpetual question, what is your Aqidah? My Aqidah is political Islam. A political Islam that believes in a fundamental unity of the entire Muslim world. A fundamental unity. And a political Islam which guarantees safety to all which live in its realm. That is my understanding of Islam. And this is informed, its historical figures are amongst others Ayatullah. If Imam Khomeini is Ayatullah, similarly, Dr. Ali Shariati is also Ayatullah. Dr. Ali Shariati, in his Islam Shirazi lectures in the Husseiniya Irshad in Tehran, was one of the political ideologues of political Islam. And aside from him, Ali Riza Shakibnai is a name that it is a fault that we do not celebrate and we do not know this name. Ali Riza Shakibnai was a geographer and of Iran, and what he did is he studied the Muslim world in its diversity of ideas, in the richness that obtains from the ground and the minerals and the mines and the trees and the animal richness and so forth. And he said something. Ali Raza Shakibnai, radiyallahu ta'ala, he said, if we only realize the wealth that we hold, and if we can only unite politically, economically, and geographically, the mud in which we are stuck, we will be able to come out of it. If we can only do some form of unity, and we can do some form of intellectual propulsion, we can come out of it. Ali Raza was a geographer, and he said, we have no idea the richness in which we live. As I have alluded, the dust of Africa, high tech is impossible without it. Any articulation, and these are just two small examples, you know better than me what happened just now in Afghanistan. What level of destruction was visited just now in Afghanistan. In light of these realities which impose themselves on us, any articulation of Islam which is divisive, which is schismatic, which is adversarial to any other, not only to Muslims, to any other, is an articulation which must be questioned and is an articulation which is unfaithful and is in discongruence to the Quran. Any articulation. An Islamic articulation, and I refer now to the surah لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ إِلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُمْ وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ. What is the name of Allah Al-Mu'min? And what does it mean to be mu'min? In the tafsir of the Nafsari tradition, of which my Asatiza, Maulana Hamid Ahmad and Muhammad Amiruddin, they come from this Nafsari tradition. In this tradition of tafsir, we speak about something called Tashjirul Quran. Tashjir comes from the root letters Shajara, a tree. Now, Tashjirul Quran strives, number one, to read the Quran in its chronological order. Is a methodology of tafsir. And number two, in reading the Quran in its chronological order, it looks at the key terms as they develop. Now, this Amanahum min khawf, Allah is the one who gives security and peace from fear. Islam must have this quality of Iman. It means that any articulation of Islam and one that aspires to political power, it must strive to do away with conflict, and that the litmus test is it must give a condition of peace. That is the litmus test of Islam. And if you look, let us now look at the articulations of Islam in a country like Pakistan. Pakistan is a failed state. No matter how noble the aims of Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah radiallahu ta'ala anhu were, Allama Iqbal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, wahi Hakimul Ummad, wahi Ala Hazrat, Chaudhry Rahmat Ali. In Pakistani political philosophy, there is something called the fundamental conflict thesis. What is the fundamental conflict thesis? The fundamental conflict thesis is that in the face and the challenge of creating a viable, all-encompassing Islamic state, we have a problem. And the problem is the concentration of Islamic power in the hands of a retrogressive class. What do we mean by this? If you look at the lectures, and it's there, it's on YouTube, everything. You look at the lectures of Pakistan, you will find machete maniacs. So there's no other word. I try and I think and I think. What term can we use? You find machete maniacs. What do we mean by this? You find so-called high-ranking ulama of one group delivering a lecture with a sword and arguing with another group. And every time he makes a point, he makes his sword like this and he makes his sword like that. You call that machete maniacs. Pakistan is a failed state because the balance of Islamic power is in the hands of these people. Now I want to conclude very quickly in the last 2 or 3 minutes about the exercise of power. I spoke in the beginning, I spoke about the forces of zulm, of oppression, and its global arsh that it establishes throughout the world. And if you refer to my previous lectures, I read the Quran politically. The Quran is not a theological maze. You will find these debates and what have you about theology and our people are calling each other kafir. Does Allah have a hand? Now one group will say no. Hand refers to qudra, power. No problem. And then you have another group that says no. It means he has a hand, but we don't know what it is. But both opinions are all right. But what happens is each other, they start fighting with each other. That is where the problem takes place. So this entire articulation of Islam is one that must be, there is no other way, but it is a plague. It must be incinerated. There is no way it can give any good to us. Now this global arch, let us listen to Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger is one of the creators of this world order that we live in, this reign of terror that we live in. He says in his book, The White House Years, page 39, we set ourselves the task of making a conscious effort to shape the international environment according to a conception of American purposes, plural, rather than to wait for events to impose the need for decision upon us. That is what Henry Kissinger is saying. How does this translate itself? And with this I'm going to conclude. I'm going to read it quickly. At about 8 p.m. on the 4th of September 1995, 3 Americans, 2 Marines and a sailor, seized a 12-year-old Okinawan girl on her way home from shopping. The Americans bound and gagged her, drove her in a rented car to a remote location, and raped her. United States Marine Private First Class Rodrigo Hart and United States Seaman Marcus Gill confessed that they violently beat her and that United States Marine Private First Class Kendrick Leday bound her mouth, eyes, hands and legs with duct tape. Described in court by an acquaintance as a tank, a big guy, United States Seaman Gill was 6 feet tall and weighed 270 pounds. United States Seaman Gill confessed to raping the girl, while United States Marine Private First Class Kendrick Leday and United States Marine Private First Class Rodrigo Hart claimed that they merely abducted her and beat her. According to an Associated Press account of the trial, open quote, the court interpreter broke down as she was translating United States Seaman Gill account of the lewd jokes he and his companions made. Close quote. The police introduced into proceedings a plastic bag found in a trash can which was DNA tested that contained the blood-stained men's underwear who have been mentioned, a school notebook and blood-stained duct tape. This is the translation, we call this in political philosophy, political theology, you call this the reification of idea. And then the last quote, this is Joanna Burke, is Professor of History at Birkbeck College in London. She writes about the history of rape. Rape here as a tool of war. It is not incidental or coincidental. My thesis is that these are deliberate cultural tools in the culture of war. We are never told her name. None of the American soldiers encircling her would have been interested in such niceties. The only relevant consideration was that she was Vietnamese and that she was a virgin. Guys took their turns. I'm not going to say this word. It's the S word, S-C-R-E-W-I-N-G. The soldier is talking about their activities in Vietnam. Guys took their turns. S, her, recalled one of the participants. It was like an animal pact. This is the testimony of Inquisition. Nobody was turning their back or nothing. We just stood in line and we, S-C-R-E-W-E-D, her. While the soldier was taking her body by force, heavily armed comrades stood at the outside of the building. She spoke in Vietnamese English. Why are you doing this to me? This is the global reality in which we live in. Any articulation of Islam, whether it be from any member, the holiest of the holies, it distracts us into theological irrelevance, is an exercise that is an adversary to Islam. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, we thank Sheikh Munir Hassan for coming out today and giving us lecture in this masjid. Just one announcement. By the grace and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we at the Institute for Islamic Services have begun with the distribution of blanket combos today. Blanket combos have been distributed to needy children in 3 schools. Inshallah, we will be continuing and hope to finish by Tuesday. However, we have not yet collected enough funds and we appeal to people to contribute more towards this project. There will be collection boxes in the wudu khana after the remaining salah. We welcome any person who would like to volunteer and assist us in the distributions. They may contact us at any time. Jazakallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الفلاح حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، والعاقبة للمتقين، ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين، وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الأمة وجاهد في سبيل الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه أفضل صلاة وأعظم تسليم. أما بعد، يقول ربنا سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. الله سبحانه وتعالى جعل هذه الأمة خير أمة أخرجت للناس، وفضلها على كثير ممن خلق تفضيلا. وينبغي أن تكون هذه الأمة في هذا الموضع من التقدير، ينبغي أن تكون هذه الأمة في تلك المكانة التي رفعها الله سبحانه وتعالى بها وفضلها على كثير من الأمم. جاء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وفي العرب حضارات شتى واتجاهات متعددة، فوحد كلمتهم وجمع بينهم وألف بين قلوبهم. فهل نحن على تلك الحال؟ هل نحن على تلك الحال من التوحيد والوحدة والتراص والتصافي والتأليف بين القلوب؟ هل نحن على ذلك؟ نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن نكون كذلك. وفي كل يوم جمعة ساعة تستجاب فيها الدعوات، فادعوه سبحانه وتعالى لعله يستجيب لنا. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين، وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله. اللهم إنا عبيدك وأبناء عبيدك، نواصينا بيدك، ماض فينا حكمك، عدل فينا قضاؤك. نسألك بكل اسم هو لك سميت به نفسك أو أنزلته في كتابك أو علمته أحدا من خلقك أو استأثرت به في علم الغيب عندك، أن تجعل القرآن الكريم ربيع قلوبنا وجلاء همنا وحزننا. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا، وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار على الوجه الذي يرضيك عنا يا رب العالمين. شهر رمضان شهر القرآن وهو قادم جميعا، نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يبلغنا رمضان. فهل نحن على استعداد لذلك الشهر الكريم؟ هل نحن على استعداد من صيام وقيام وذكر وصلاة ودعاء؟ هل نحن على ذلك؟ هل نحن على استعداد لذلك أم أننا ما زلنا نائمون؟ وصعب أن يستيقظ الإنسان فجأة على أبواب رمضان ويستيقظ وينشط، فلا بد له من تمرين ساخن حتى يستعد لذلك اليوم وذلك الشهر. أما أن يستيقظ من غفلته وهو على أبواب رمضان، وحينما يترك رمضان بابه فلا يستطيع أن يفيق، لا يستطيع أن يفيق من غفلته، ولا يستطيع أن يأخذ حظه من ذلك الشهر الكريم. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن نكون كذلك. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا وتجاوز عن سيئاتنا. اللهم اكرمنا ولا تهنا، وكن لنا ولا تكن علينا. اللهم حب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا، وكره لنا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين. اللهم خذ بأيدينا منا إليك ولا تخزنا ولا تفضحنا في يوم العرض عليك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، سلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. رحمكم الله. سووا صفوفكم وسدوا الفرج. الله